Hi, everybody. First of all, Happy New Year. This is going to be the first episode of 2023. As always, I will begin with the quote. And the quote is do what you love, and you'll never have a problem with Monday. I'm going to repeat that. Do what you love, and you will never have a problem with Monday. Now, where does this come from? I think we keep listening to people saying, Are yaar, weekend khatam, Monday aa raha," and all that. But I can vouch for my own life that for me, all days are the same. And the reason is because at least today I can say confidently that I do everything that I love doing. But did this come easy? Did this come from the start? No, it did not. And I wonder why. To answer that question, we have our 16th speaker, Tanushi Chopra. The girl is a very brave girl that you will find out in a bit. And why I say brave is because she has the courage to make her own decisions unflinched by the world's demands. Of course, there must be support of her parents, which we will find out through the episode. Apart from that, she's a very focused, a very clear-headed girl. She has a very mature head over her shoulders and is a very confident person, which you will know in just about 5 minutes. So thank you, Tanushi. Thank you for agreeing to do this and welcome to the show.
Thank you. I'm grateful for this opportunity.
My pleasure. And as always, I always ask all my speakers to first give a tiny message to the world that they want changed in the world. What would that be before we proceed?
Okay, I would like to give a disclaimer first before anyone comes at me or attacks me by the end of this episode for my privileges. This is not just my story, but it's also an accumulation of multiple stories from the people who are experiencing this, who have experienced this. And I want you to take this video as a sign, little sign that it'll all work out. Just give it some time, it'll be fine. Thank you.
So to reiterate what she just said, I'm assuming you're speaking to people that are starting their lives in colleges. Those are actually the people that we are talking to. Of course, their parents also, which we will know in the show. You are telling the kids or the young adults that everything is going to work out fine. Okay. So now proceeding, tell us a little about yourself. What is it that you do? What is your background? Whatever.
Okay, so I'm a graphic designer and an illustrator. Ever since I was a kid, well, not a kid, in high school I realized that I wanted to pursue arts because I just couldn't do math and science for the sake of the world. So I decided that I'll give my entrances for all sorts of design colleges, from NID, NIFT, and other universities as well. But by the time my results came out, COVID was on the rise. So obviously that meant months of online classes because we didn't know. The country was in lockdown. We didn't know when the classes would open, the campus would open. But I did join a design college. But after the first year, I realized that this is not really for me. So I took a gap year to explore and find out what I wanted to do. And here I am. I am now studying a certificate course at NIFT. And I am working as a freelancer.
Are you happy?
I am.
Okay. When you say gap year, explain everything around the gap year. Like what happens? How does it affect you? Or like we also know that you are representing people like your friends, some people your age, right? Help us understand from their point of view what the pros and cons of gap year for them and their parents. Kya hai? What is this whole hawa gap year wala?
Okay, I'll give you a little background for this.
Yeah.
When I was in college, obviously there were online classes, and when you talk about design is a very practical subject. Even the theory part of it needs to have some sort of application. So during my first year, which is the foundation year, where they teach you everything, it comes in 2 semesters. So it was like a car going down the slope. Okay. This was me in my first semester. And by the time I reached the ending of the second semester, I was here.
Mentally?
Right. Mentally, it was very draining. Obviously, so now all the news articles and the memes about online classes draining your mental health, they started to make sense here. So this happened and my mental health was going down and I felt extremely useless, I'll be honest, because I wasn't not able to give my best. So my parents, they came in and they were like, you know what, we see you struggling here. And we see that you've been fretting over some useless ideas which you're not meant for and you're wasting your potential. Do you want to do this? If you don't want to do this, then leave it. It's okay. Anyway, these are online classes. We don't know when the lockdown is going to be taken off. So what you do is, now the gap year comes in. Gap year is where you sit and explore through different mediums, different subjects to find out what you really want to do. Right. So this was my gap year where I literally sat doing nothing for a month. And I was talking to different designers about their experience in the industry, and we decided that, you know what, um, I'll build my skill set, but I'll get into the work field because what my college is teaching, the work field will teach me more than that.
Okay.
So we decided that and we got into that. So that's how I started my gap year.
So you're telling me that a student in, let's say, 12th standard, in high school, may or may not know what he or she wants to do in life. Is that true? I mean, that's true for me. That's true for most of us sitting here. Hamara generation was different. You're the next generation. But is it majorly true also? Majorly. With majority of the kids, are they crystal clear like, ye karna mujhe? How many? What is the percentage? If general, everything is general here.
I would say 100%, maybe 5% know what they actually want to do, and they have their whole life with a plan and a whole layout and everything. But I know that a majority of people that I've talked to, they know what they want to do, but again there's that blurry vision कि अच्छा ठीक है हम ये कर लेंगे, but हमको पता नहीं है exactly हम उस goal तक कैसे
पहुंचेंगे कैसे.
तो crystal clear ideas नहीं है. They know what they want to do, but they also don't.
Yeah. Okay. Coming back to the point when you said you started going down, right? And that was mentally. Talk more about it. How did it affect you mentally? What was going on in your brain? We need to know because most of us are parents here and with kids that will go to college one day. So we need to know as parents also that what goes on in your head before your parents intervened. When you were going through that phase, break it down. क्या लग रहा था तब?
पहले तो मुझे थोड़ा I was in decline. I was because I kept declining the fact that my mental health was going down because I was like, okay, fine. इतना college में stress तो होता ही है, ठीक है? If I don't take any sort of stress, then I don't think I'm being serious enough. Achha. So I was going a little hard on myself at that point. So mentally it was that, but again, by the time I was working on my whole assignment and everything, I realized that यार ये इतना थोड़ा जम नहीं रहा है basically. ये नहीं हो रहा because it took so much vials of energy from me that I couldn't really perform that well in my assignments, and that affected me even more because see, when you're in college, when you're building a career, college and your studies are like the basic foundation, right? You're learning what you have to do. So when you do your assignments, when your professors give you feedback that okay, fine, you're not really doing this like this, and they're questioning you, why did you add this? I did not really have answers. So during that time, I also started putting a lot of mental pressure on myself, which is why my mental health was declining. Nobody had asked me कि आप ऐसे क्यों कर रहे हो, ऐसे करना चाहिए, कोई डंडा लेके नहीं चढ़ रहा था मेरे ऊपर. But it was that self burden that really put me off.
Okay.
So again, it's not really always in college, but again, when you think about your career, कि आपको जॉब्स कैसे करनी है, आपको कैसी मेहनत करनी है, आपको कैसे पैसे कमाने हैं, वो मेंटल प्रेशर जब आप अपने ऊपर डालते हो, दैट टेक्स अ टोल ऑन द मेंटल हेल्थ बिकॉज यू सी एवरीवन अराउंड यू बीइंग वेरी सक्सेसफुल, यू सी सो मेनी पीपल अर्निंग सो मच, there's a lot of emphasis on money here because I'll tell you why. जब आप अपने करियर के बारे में बात करते हो, the people first don't ask you how you're doing it. They're like आप कितना कमा रहे हो, आपका पैकेज कितना है. They don't see कि आप कितनी मेहनत कर रहे हो. They're like आपका पैकेज कितना है, आप कितना कमा रहे हो. तो पैसे का ना एक
there's a yardstick, unfortunately. That's almost like a yardstick that if you're earning X, then you're successful X. If you're earning this, then you're, which is the biggest, I would say, myth, because I can say that now with a lot of authority. I meet so many people who are earning a lot of money, ain't happy. They're not happy. I know the shit that is going on in their lives. So, and people who are just pursuing what they love doing, they are the ones who are actually spreading a lot of happiness also. So it's great for the community as well. So it's imperative that people, at least young adults, do what you're doing. Coming back to the point, it is uncommon to have parents who will, for the lack of a better term, allow you to take a gap year. It is uncommon, especially in our country. मतलब इतना भसड़ मचा हुआ है रैट रेस की भैया शर्मा जी एंड इन दिस केस आई एम आल्सो शर्मा, तो शर्मा जी के बच्चे तो वो कर रहे हैं, तुम क्या कर रहे हो अपनी जिंदगी के साथ? Did that happen, or was it like your parents were like just chill? Because that takes a lot of self-assuredness on their part and a lot of security. So how, take us through that. That's actually the main thing.
Okay. So my parents, like I said, they saw me struggling way before I did. Okay. My mom mainly. She's sitting here.
And who's right here, by the way, for everybody. Her name is Tanushi Chopra, and she's sitting right here. Yeah.
And then she saw me struggling, and she's like, "क्या कर रही है तू? Such bata." And I was like, so this one time I was joking. It was like, you want me to drop out and just take some few courses, and that's how you want me to make my career? And she's like, I don't see the problem here. I'll be honest. And I got offended here because I was like, मुझे college जाना है, ऐसे मत करो मेरे साथ. And she's like, you will get the point after a while. It's okay. So we were there, and my parents, mostly my mom, she was the one who suggested that, you know what, you take a gap year because college is not going anywhere. It's here only. But the type of toll you're taking on your mental health, that will really ruin you inside. So don't do that to yourself.
That's amazing.
My father was a little dicey here because he has that conventional ways, obviously.
Which is fine.
Okay. But again, I took a gap year, and he was like, okay, fine. First he was, okay, fine. What do you want to do? I'm like, okay, fine. I want to be a designer. He'll ask me, what sort of designer? I don't know. But again, he would occasionally sneak up behind me and he'd be like, future ka kya socha hai tumne? And I'm like, Papa, I'll tell you one thing. I'm not going to lie to you. I don't know. And I am not going to give you the false hope that I have my shit together. I don't. I am scattered everywhere. I'm working with acrylics. I'm working with watercolors. I'm working with ink. You see, my mediums also aren't confirmed. How are you expecting me to confirm my career here in the matter of 5 minutes? Again, so I used to say this and he'd get a little, ऐसे क्यों बोल रहे हो? And then my mom, she would be like, ठीक है, हो जाएगा. So again, she was the main pawn here to, you know, settle it all down, to ground us कि ठीक है, थोड़ा time दो, सब बैठ जाएगा. So yeah,
that's amazing.
But eventually he understood because he saw so many cases around us. कि how kids are struggling and how their own parents are putting that pressure on them. And he was like, okay, fine, you know what you're doing? It's completely okay. I don't want you to suffer. I don't want you to cry yourself to sleep every day. So what you're doing, do what you want to do. It's okay. Take your time. अगर गैप ईयर के 6 महीने बाद तक भी नहीं पता चलता कि क्या होना है, हम हैं तेरे साथ. तू टेंशन मत.
That's giving me goosebumps. Really, it is. That is very, very uncommon. It is unheard of in this country because, I mean, you see it all around, yaar. You know, I mean, I made a joke about the Sharma ji wala bacha, but it is true. Like, I see kids starting to prep for IITs because whatever it is, from what 4th, 5th standard, matlab what is going on in life, bacche se pooch to lo yaar. And I must compliment you on being so self-aware that I don't have my shit together, I don't know what I'm going to do. That I don't know is a very powerful phrase, pata hai, jo bolte nahi hai log. It's like, yeah, I know. But to say stuff like that I don't know. Because I think nobody does. We are all just, I think, groping in the dark, right? But on that note, what were your lowest moments?
Okay, during the gap year, right?
I'm sorry?
During the gap year, my lowest.
Yeah, not during the gap year, before the gap year also. The moments leading to it, like, we need to know. Again, like parents also and like young adults, that ye hota hai, we can avoid it.
My lowest moments were where I was putting a lot of pressure on myself. It was almost like a negative self-talk that you're not enough. You're not doing enough. You should put in more efforts. Look at other students. They're presenting such beautiful assignments and out-of-box ideas. I mean, I had good ideas too. I would vouch for that. But again, वो execution नहीं हो पा रही थी. So obviously I was very hard on myself. But again, during the gap year also, I was like, okay, fine, sort हो जाएगा. But then I saw my friends going to their college, going on campus, enjoying their social life. तो वो एक जो FOMO होता है ना, that was there. My FOMO was very hard and very strong. Like, this may sound very small, but FOMO eats a major chunk of your mental health.
It's not small at all. It isn't.
It sounds small when I say it.
Yeah, no, we will not trivialize it. It is there. It is a fact. We are humans. We are social people. And obviously hoga yaar, at your age, that's the one thing that you're looking forward to. and you took the courage to take a break here. I'm sure they must be talking about it all the time. How did you deal with that?
I confided in my mom, and she would scold me at some point because she'll be like, it's okay, it is okay. She'll get frustrated because she'll be like, I told you it will take time, and it's valid for you to feel this way, but don't beat yourself up for it. And everybody around me I even told my friends that, you know what, you talk about this campus stories and everything, you're having so much fun, I feel kind of left out. And they're like, it's fine, you'll have your time. Okay. Okay. Abhi, you should focus on yourself. And that is how, you know, you'll start to experience that joy of doing what you love. क्योंकि अगर आपको पता ही नहीं है आपको क्या करना है, तो आप कैसे figure out करोगे अपने आप को?
So what you're saying is it does come with the cost, but that cost is short-lived. The cost essentially will be FOMO of sorts because of the age that you're in. And what age, yaar? I'm sure हम सब भी तो FOMO ही चलता रहता है यार, कुछ ना कुछ. We are all living in a world of our FOMO as adults is a little I would feel misplaced sometimes for the weirdest of things. But at that age, you're looking forward, yeah, to kind of have a social life and do stuff, and especially as an artist, you know, to express yourself and all that. वो नहीं हो रहा है. It's absolutely valid. But what you're saying is it's okay. It'll pass and it'll be worth it, right? That's what you're saying.
Yeah.
Okay. Now I know that there was some data also that you collected, and you are representing a lot of kids your age. I keep saying kids, I'm sorry, you are an adult, but please take it in the right way. You're much younger to me. So what's going on in kids' minds? And then we'll talk about why do parents do what they do, because you have collected stuff. We need to bring it out.
What's going on
in kids' minds? Like you were saying that you mentioned a few things that they're like, बस यार ये माँ बाप को खुश करो यार, उसके बाद निकलना है मुझे, you know, stuff like that. Now parents need to know this, कि वो आपसे छुटकारा पाने के लिए कर रहे हैं ये सब. Now that's not really pretty. So what's going on in children's minds?
Again, I keep saying this, but they keep putting this pressure on themselves कि हम कर तो रहे हैं, but midway their degrees they realize that I don't want to do this anymore. But of course they don't have the guts to say this, not only because they are doubtful of the fact that their parents won't accept them, but also the fact that उनको लगता है कि they've not wasted maybe, but their parents have invested so much money into their education. So they have that guilt at the back of their mind that now that we're midway, you know, in the middle of this degree, we can't back out. तो वो डिग्री तो खत्म करें हम एटलीस्ट, उसके बाद देखेंगे क्या होगा.
वो गिल्ट कहाँ से आ रहा होगा? What do you think?
Guilt, again, the fact that they wasting the money.
वो feeling कहाँ से आ रही है? Who's feeding that into them? I mean, if I didn't know what guilt meant, I didn't know कि money मेरे ऊपर invest हो रहा है.
Some I think are too considerate, because they've always been the hyper independent kids who never want to pressure their own parents. But again, some are always reminded that, you know what, we're spending so much money on you.
This was my point.
We are investing so much time in you. You should, you know, make it worth it. But again, they're not getting that chance to speak about what they want to do. तो वो जो एक pressure, I keep saying this, the pressure is so much. It's not always कि आप पैसा कैसे वेस्ट कर रहे हो, but it's also कि स्कोप कितना है उसमें. ये स्कोप जो बीच में आ जाता है, हर आर्ट स्टूडेंट को पता है कि आप बैठे हो, अच्छा अंकल पूछते हैं, अंकल आंटी पूछेंगे कि आपने क्या सब्जेक्ट लिया है, अंकल हमने ह्यूमैनिटीज़ लिया, हमने आर्ट्स ली है. PCM क्यों नहीं ली, कॉमर्स क्यों नहीं लिया? कॉमर्स तो मैथ लेना चाहिए, क्यों? स्कोप बहुत है. क्या होता है स्कोप? मुझे आज तक समझ नहीं.
Is scope equal to money making ability?
According to the society, yes, absolutely.
I know that. I mean, I had PCMB, and look at me, I'm an artist today.
I'm sorry.
Just thank you, apology. I accepted, and I wish it was different then. But I was supposed to be a doctor. I was told from the age of 3. I think when I grew up thinking I have to be a doctor. Like I did not. ये सब तो कुछ भी नहीं था दूर तक. ये तो सारा break किया 10 साल पहले. Till then I was an architect, which is still closer to that. But again, architecture is also not something I was enjoying fully, you know. So which is why. But this thing of being fed, I have a message here, if my own message to parents, and I hope I also remember this with my own child. We do, both my husband and I, that पैसा, you know, एक वो मतलब हम 3 Idiots जैसी मूवी को हिट तो बना देते हैं, but is that it? Like, why aren't we learning from the movie? And especially that scene with Madhavan. I mean that moved me to tears यार, जब वो finally बोलता है कि पापा मैं कमाऊंगा नहीं, मैं शायद कहीं जंगल में रहूंगा, लेकिन मैं खुश तो रहूंगा. You know, the way he says it, and then his father suddenly realizes and takes the laptop away and brings the camera to him. I think that was. तो यार वो मूवी को कितने साल हो गए यार आके, हम लोग लर्न क्यों नहीं कर रहे हैं? Why are we repeating our mistakes like? And क्या करना है आपको इतने पैसे के साथ? और आप अपने बच्चे के अंदर अगर पैसा इन्वेस्ट करो तो उसको सुनाते रहोगे. प्लीज डोंट invest your time. And what Anuja and her husband did with Tanushi, that investing your thought, investing your love, investing your understanding with the child, because I'm sure you were different 2-3 years ago than what you are today when you felt what you did. I'm sure that is why you're here to talk about it, right? So I think that is something we all need to remember, right? Now, what about the parents a little bit? Like, if you want to say something, or what do you think your friends are saying about the parents? क्या scene है? क्या है ये?
See, the parents want the best for their kids always. उनका intention कभी गलत नहीं होता है. But they don't realize that in the middle of all this, they compare them. शर्मा जी का बेटा, शर्मा जी की बेटी. They also underestimate them a lot. And even if they do accept their choices, there is always a half acceptance कि ठीक है आप कर तो रहे हो ये, but I still wish you were in a stable career. But this half-ass acceptance still doesn't cut it, you know, because you need to see where your kids are coming from. When you're young, you at this point, for me at least, I want to live a life where I am content, I am comfortable, and I'm happy. पैसा आएगा जाएगा, वो एक पूरा चक्कर चलता रहता है. बट आई वॉन्ट टू बी हैप्पी इन वॉट आई डू, क्योंकि एक जो मेंटल सेटिस्फैक्शन होती है वो बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट होती है. बट ऑफकोर्स ये जो स्टेबल करियर स्कोप्स के बारे में बहुत ज़्यादा बात करना, उससे क्या होता है, आप एक बच्चे पे एक यू डोंट रियलाइज इट बट यू पुट अ लिटिल बिट ऑफ दिस हैवी प्रेशर ऑन देम विच ऑलवेज स्टेज, यू नो. आप थेरेपी में भी जाते हो, थेरेपी टेक्स मंथ्स ऑफ थेरेपी टू टेक दिस आउट, आई एम श्योर
इट डज,
राइट. तो of course your intention is fine, you have a good intention, but उसके जो तरीके हैं वो थोड़े आप गलत तरीके से ट्विस्ट कर रहे हो, which is why it's affecting your kid, right? तो of course financially stable career में जाना, scope वाले career में जाना, वो सब ठीक है, but you need to see if your child is doing fine mentally. Are they too quiet? Do they go quiet when you talk to them about their career? Do they, you know, avoid the question overall around you? Do they just snap at you? They'll be like, मम्मी पापा क्या कर रहे हो यार, मैं नहीं कर सकता ये. Then
those are the signs.
You need to have some safe space talks with them कि ठीक है कुछ दिक्कत हो रही है career wise, topic wise, तो हम देख लेते हैं.
And do you think ये जो mom dad का ये pressure आता है is actually their problem more than them projecting it on the child? For example, their own insecurities, their own unfulfilled dreams, their own FOMO with their current generation. उसका बच्चा तो Ivy League college में, मैं बात कैसे करूँगा? Insecurities, inferiority complex being projected on the child. Do you think it is that?
I think yes.
It could be that.
It can be, yes, absolutely. क्योंकि आप, you know, it depends on the social circle you're in. आपके relatives ही हैं, अच्छा हमारा बच्चा ऐसे कर रहा है, Ivy League college में गया है, CA कर रहा है, first attempt पास हो गया है, तो आपको एक वो रहता है कि हमारा बच्चा क्या कर रहा है यार, हम क्या कर, होता है ना कि हम क्या कर रहे हैं यार, हम में क्या ऐसी कमी रहेगी कि हमारा बच्चा ऐसा नहीं कर पाया. सो अगेन व्हेन द किड्स सी द पेरेंट्स ब्लेमिंग देयर ओन सेल्व्स, दैट इंस्टिल्स दैट गिल्ट कि हमारी ही कोई गलती होगी. उसकी वजह से भी वो अपने ऊपर एक प्रेशर डालना शुरू कर देते हैं. तो
दैट इज अ वेरी वेल सेड पॉइंट, बिकॉज shit, I'm guilty of this one. This I'm guilty of. I will accept this. There are times when my child who's just 10, 11, I have said this sentence that, nahi, it's not your fault. I only must be doing something wrong. Oh, thank you so much for this. I have said this. हाँ मैं ही कुछ गलत कर रही होंगी, आपकी गलती नहीं है. So trying to actually act very woke, but not being woke actually. Thank you for this, and I will stop it immediately. Shit, I've done this. So yeah, this can be very sinister. Yeah. Okay, all right.
एक तो ये FOMO भी होता है कई बारी, but again they want obviously the best for their kids. They want their kids to live the best life. They don't want them to struggle like they did. कि हमने स्क्रैच से अपना पैसा कमाया है, हम चाहते हैं कि तुम एक कंफर्टेबल लाइफ जियो. बट अगेन वो जितना उनको पुश करते हैं, पुश और पुल की एक जो टेक्निक होती है कि अच्छा ये करो, अब ये मत करो, नहीं ये भी कर सकते हो, अभी मत करो, इसके लिए टाइम नहीं है, तो वो एक साइकिल में डाल देता है where the kid वो ना इधर का रहता है ना उधर का रहता है, तो बीच में जब अटक जाते हो, that's worse than being on one of the sides.
Does that affect the kids' confidence and
Absolutely.
self-worth?
Yes, it does in a lot of ways. क्योंकि कई बार they start underestimating themselves and they don't achieve their potential.
Yeah.
Right. So that really takes a toll on them.
I am a product of this. I am. I felt inferior for most of my life. Reason being that I was always in a place where I did not belong. Right? So when you don't belong, and why? Because of वही मैं तो थी शर्मा जी, तो भैया तुम्हारे तो घर पे ही सारे डॉक्टर इंजीनियर है, तुम तो शर्मा जी के ही बच्चे हो, यू आर तो टेम्पल ऑफ शर्मा जी, तो तुमको तो करना ही है. एंड नॉट जस्ट maybe if my parents also would have agreed, but honestly my relatives, everybody that the doctor banegi just because I was good at studies. How is that equivalent to becoming a doctor or engineer our time? Now there are other things, but how is that equivalent? If you're good in studies, how does that relate to PCMB? You could be good in studies and become an artist, but somehow, and I wanted to be a fashion designer, so wo nahi hua. And believe me, again, another thing that I want to say is that not just my self-worth and self-confidence, it affected my relationships. It affected how I looked at the world. I looked at people, my friendships, the way I looked at my employers, my colleagues, everything. It's not just your own self-confidence. Everything gets affected. Your health, the way you look, everything gets affected. Then अपने आप को उसमें से निकालना ना, it's excruciating. Don't do that to your kids. Let them just be, let them take the gap year, 1 year, 2 years, कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ने वाला, right? Even if it's 2 years, क्या हो गया? सोचो, जियो अपनी जिंदगी, सोचो तुम्हें क्या करना है. Is that what you're trying to say, right? And now just kind of closing in a little bit, talk freely about, maybe you could even pinpoint small things like you just did actually, कि ऐसे नहीं वैसे, दो ऐसे push pull चलता रहता है. If you had to kind of encapsulate everything that you spoke for kids and for parents, what is the change you want in this world?
Okay, as a student, I would say that when you're passing from high school, it's, and
also,
if you
I'm sorry to interrupt, any message for teachers?
Oh yes. Okay. As a student, if you think after 12th or even कभी भी आपको लग रहा है कि आपको नहीं पता कि क्या करना है जिंदगी में, रुको and take a gap year. It's okay. So that guilt for even wasting your parents' money doesn't come in, because आप बैठ रहे हो घर पे. It's okay to not do anything for a while. It's better to sit, think and experiment and use 1 year selfishly rather than waste 4 years and then, have no energy left in you. Right? It's better to live happily than lifelessly. That, and for the parents, please talk to your kids. ठीक है, एक safe space बनाओ उनके लिए, बहुत important होता है. Right? If you don't want your kids to seek out toxic relationships, toxic friendships, talk to them. Create a safe space की, and it's fine. आपका होता है, आपके thoughts, आपकी judgments, आपके morals बीच में आते हैं. That's okay. But listen to them. कि क्या चाहते हो? Sit down with them and talk to them. कि आपका क्या interest है? आपका aptitude किधर जा रहा है? What is your plan? What do you want to do? नहीं समझ आ रहा, कोई बात नहीं. Think about it. Make a plan. And even if things don't go according to the plan, it's okay. Things don't go according to plan. I'll tell you that. आप कितना भी plan कर लो, हमेशा होता है. Your impromptu plans are always better than the ones that you plan.
Always.
Right?
Yeah.
Even when I make an artwork, my first draft is shit. My second draft comes out so pretty, I would print it everywhere. Right? So that's how it comes along. And as teachers, I had this one teacher who would tell my whole class that, don't go for co-curriculars. Why? क्योंकि पढ़ाई पे focus नहीं होता. And everybody would be like, how does this even make sense? Because you're not always meant for an academic aptitude. अगर है तो बहुत बढ़िया, अच्छी बात है, good for you. But अगर नहीं भी है तो भी बहुत बढ़िया, तो भी बहुत अच्छी बात है. ठीक है ना? तो co-curriculars में जाओ, experiment करो, dance, do theater, sing in choirs, do whatever you want, and don't listen to teachers who tell you to not participate in co-curriculars. That's a red flag in education system.
Thank you for bringing that out, and I completely agree with you. I completely do. I mean, on the one hand, we are celebrating football stars, Bollywood stars, theater people. वो कहाँ से उनको उनके लिए तालियां बजाएंगे, सब होगा. But I mean, honestly, अगर इतना ही academics was so important, how many of us really can name 10 scientists, yeah, for that matter? Like, seriously. So let's understand the irony. At the end of the day, let's just be happy doing, because even the scientist who made it was happy doing it, was not forced. And the footballer who made it was happy doing that, you know. So happiness is key. And usse pehle is acceptance. Usse pehle, I think, is acceptance of the parents of themselves. So on that note, I would like to also again mention Tanushi Chopra, who's sitting here. Anuja, and please can we give a round of applause to the lady who's sitting here. Anuja, it takes a world of courage, especially here in India and where we are living, North India, जहाँ पर हर जगह टॉप IIT वाले लोगों के ना ऐसे 20 लगे होते हैं, ये वहाँ पर you had the stubbornness of being a mother, a parent, and stubbornness of looking out for your child. I think that's really praiseworthy. So thank you so much, because this girl here now is going to spread happiness. तो आपने कम्युनिटी का भी भला किया. लोग समझते नहीं है यार ये कि जब कोई एक इंसान खुश होता है तो उसके आसपास के लोग खुश होते हैं. Nobody understands this for some reason. So here's a future citizen of the world who's going to now create wonders. All thanks to you. Most thanks to you. A lot of thanks goes to you too, not taking that away. But you need parents like that at that age, right? So what else would you like to say? Your last concluding words. ये तो आपने teachers को बोला. Anything for parents and children, students?
Wow, I had thought of so many things.
Take your time. We are not in a rush.
Let time take its time. ठीक है ना, just ठीक हो जाएगा सब कुछ. नहीं होगा, universe has its own ways of working. It'll work itself out. Don't worry. You keep putting in your efforts. You keep thinking. You keep experimenting. Don't stop doing what you like. Just that. ठीक है ना. And please किसी के pressure में मत आओ. Please talk to your parents. I know that fights are, you can't avoid fights sometimes. Arguments are bound to happen, but never stop speaking your mind. It's very important to stand up for yourself and what you like. And yeah, just let it take some time. It'll be fine.
Awesome. Anything else? Anything else? And whatever. I'm just giving you space and time if you want to say something else. Otherwise, we're done. Achha, one question, let's say. We'll just act out something. You're the kid, I'm the mother. Okay? You're saying something, beta, nahi mama, I don't want to do this. So then I'll be like, kya karoge fir aap? Just let's do a little dialogue here so that we understand this is how you can talk to children. Then you say that, Mom, I'm not liking this. Just say,
Ma, this course I'm doing, I'm really not interested in it anymore. I don't think I can do this anymore.
Beta, then why did you sign up for it? I mean, you're almost an adult ना. क्यों sign up किया आपने बेटा? आपको पता है ना पैसे लगे उसके अंदर.
उस टाइम मुझे लगा कि मेरे से हो जाएगा, but
नहीं बेटा, जिंदगी पर ऐसे नहीं चलती है कि आपको you can't keep changing like that बेटा. You're almost an adult. मतलब सोचो अगर हम ऐसे करें कि उस टाइम नहीं समझ में आया था और अब समझ, you have to stick to your decision. It's tough. I'm telling you, this can happen. Huh? So then because you're saying fight for your rights, so let's teach how to do this. Let's both learn as not you and Anuja, as people who are reeling in this right now. A kid and the parent. Then?
I am coping with this right now. I'll tell you that. ठीक है ना, मैं ये डिग्री ले तो आऊँगी, but don't expect me to get like a 90% or a 100% here. It'll be a 50%. ठीक है ना, तो आपके पास शो ऑफ करने के लिए कुछ होगा नहीं. I'll tell you that.
बेटा, mind your life.
Sorry.
No, let's do a little drama, no. Okay. बेटा, ये coping वोपिंग ना, ये words don't use with me. Okay, all this Instagrammable words ये हमें नहीं समझ में आते हैं. हमको old fashion समझ आता है कि मेहनत करो, आपका हमने कोर्स में डाला है, हम बेवकूफ़ लग रहे हैं आपको. We know we've seen the world more ना बेटा. देखा है कि नहीं, ज़्यादा दुनिया देखी है हमने. इस कोर्स में स्कोप ज़्यादा है. आपको क्या पता है? आपको अभी तो आप तो प्रिविलेज बच्चे हो, आप तो रह रहे हो आराम से कंफर्टेबल जिंदगी में.
प्रिविलेज का यूज़ तो करना दो ना.
What do you mean? सुनिए ये आप क्या ये इसको आपके लाड प्यार ने इसको बिगाड़ के रखा है. देखिए कैसे बात कर रही है वापस अपनी माँ से. हाँ, कंटिन्यू.
बच्चे को जो चाहिए उसको करने दो. It's okay. There is always one parent who's always listening.
ठीक है, चलो एक बात के लिए मान लिया, मैं तो ओल्ड फैशन हूँ, ठीक है. लेकिन अगर मान भी लिया तो क्या करने, क्या प्लान, इरादा क्या तुम्हारा, तुम ये बताओ मेरे को. व्हाट इज योर प्लान?
मैंने सोच के रखा है मैं आपको पूरे नोट्स बना के दूंगी।
किस चीज़ के नोट्स बेटा? ये तो तुमसे हैंडल नहीं हो रहा है। किस चीज़ के नोट्स बनाओगे?
कुछ तो काम आएगा ना डिग्री से, मैं बताती हूँ। थोड़ा सा प्लान है, बट मैं आपको पूरा बता दूंगी कि मेरे को क्या चाहिए।
ओके।
पर आई नो कि मैं इसमें ज़्यादा खुश रहूंगी एंड आई विल मेक यू प्राउड, आई प्रॉमिस।
देखो बेटा, मेरे को तुम्हारी खुशी ज़्यादा इंपॉर्टेंट है। तुम मेरे को प्राउड करो या नहीं, वो तो कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता। दिस इज मी बीइंग द आयरनी, लाइक इस तरफ एंड इस तरफ, है ना? दिस इज व्हाट पेरेंट्स डू। एक तरफ से सेइंग मेरे को भी फर्क नहीं पड़ता है, तो उसकी खुशी देख लो यार। अपना प्राइड छोड़ो ना, बाहर में जाना दो प्राइड को। बट ओके, मुझे क्या पता कि तुम ये जो मुझे नोट्स देने वाले हो, यू विल स्टिक टू दैट। हाउ डू आई नो दैट यू विल स्टिक टू दैट डिसीजन?
There's a possibility that there will always be change of plans. ठीक है, there will
Listen
be
to this.
plans, but I want to do this. I know this. और अगर कुछ दिक्कत होती है, कुछ इधर उधर होता है, I'll tell you first. ठीक है ना? आप कभी मेरे से ये मत एक्सपेक्ट करना कि मैं आपको झूठ बोलूँगी किसी चीज़ के बारे में। I will tell you what is going on in my mind. I will tell you कि मुझे क्या चाहिए, मुझे क्या नहीं चाहिए, और मैं कैसे करूँगी ये. So that is how I will work this out.
While doing, thank you for cooperating. While doing this, by the way, what went on in my mind suddenly is that why am I at loggerheads with my own child? We both should be at loggerheads with the world. We should be a team ना, कि अरे यार कैसे होगा, ये तेरे को नहीं समझ में आ रहा, shit यार अब क्या करें यार, अब ये should it be like that instead of me against you and you having to prove your point to me? Who am I? The court? I'm not, right? I should be with you. And beautifully done the way you did that. It might change. I will not lie to you. Proud and all that is great. Yeah. See, at the end of the day, वो मेरे खुद के thoughts हैं वैसे, but you're not, Anuja, this is not against you or any other parent, but I don't think any child should be working to make anybody proud. Make yourself proud. Number one, everybody else will be proud. ये भी एक है, अपने ना माँ बाप को मुझे बहुत प्राउड बनाना है, तो उसमें तुम घिसते रहो, मतलब खुश रहोगे तो पेरेंट्स विल बी प्राउड in any case, which is evident, right? So I think with that it's a wrap, Tanushi. If there's anything else, otherwise we will wrap up now. Anything else to say? Anything anybody wants to ask? Anything?